Anyways, I'd better get out of your hair, right? You're clearly very... Her eyes slide over to where I'd thrown the silken underwear. Busy, Don't you look at me with that smug look, okay? It's not what you think. I just like to put on women's underwear on occasion that happen to be silky. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, have a good night then. Oh yeah. She probably thinks I'm gonna go over here and just, wank one off or something. Yeah, I know what's going through your head, Peggy. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to England Exchange. I'm your host, the Bird. Notice Falcon, what? What's the deal? What, you can't see me playing a visual novel game? I will have you know right now, I have played plenty of visual novel games in my lifetime, okay? Yes, the majority of them happen to be mature rated. Yes, a lot of them probably had a lot of nudity and sexual encounters, but that's besides the point here. What is this, like a witch hunt? I saw this game, and I was fairly interested in the plot and the premise. And yes, I might have seen a couple of images here and there that seem very titillating, but that's besides the point. Here's the plot of the game, okay? Listen to this. I am a typical normal American who apparently one day decides to go over to England and spend one semester in England as a student, as a worker, to find love. And you know what? If you want to look up the game on Google Images, go ahead. You might want to be of age before you do that, though. Let's get into the game here as quick as possible. Alrighty, and here we get to choose our characters. You have a choice between a female and a male. I will have you guys know as well, the game actually does offer same-sex dating. So if you're a male, you could date a male. If you're a female, you could also date a female, and obviously just regular hetero relations as well. So whichever one tickles your fancy, you're covered in this game. So I'm gonna be going over here with I don't want to be Flynn. Dude, come on. I don't want to be the kid from Breaking Bad. All he does is, eat breakfast and shit. Falcon 69, that's my name right there, baby. What, you telling me Falcon 69 is less mature than Flynn from Breaking Bad? Well, maybe that's your opinion. But I think I like the name Falcon 69. So without further ado, let's get our asses over to England. Alrighty guys, right now the premise of this video is me getting to England as soon as possible because we're just doing a one-shot, but if you guys enjoyed this, would like to see a bit more, you let me know and we'll cover more of this. But right now, I'm only thinking one-shot, therefore I want to get us to England as soon as possible, therefore we're skipping this little introduction right here. To give you a long story short, my apparently Korean-American friend, along with my Brazilian friend, Nene. Well, you telling me, Falcon, how do you know she's Brazilian? Well, I'm pretty sure I've seen a footballer named Nene, man. I am 100% sure. If she's from somewhere else, I apologize, but to me, she is Brazilian, and he is Korean. Either way, they're telling me, Falcon, you're a square, you're a virgin, you apparently don't even drink alcohol, you're having a lemonade with no alcohol in it. When you go to England, have fun, get laid, square. That's the premise of the story right there. I just summed it up for you. Okay, now we're in England, the fun part. So now you guys relax and you let me take you on this little trip. I was in another country. But to be honest, it didn't look much different in the US. Oh, really? Yeah, I expected to go to England and see like spaceships and hoverboards and like, people with wild, crazy purple hair, very un-American-like. It was a little less crowded than JFK, but the architecture at Heathrow Airport felt a lot like home. The only real difference was the accents. I had expected everyone to sound like BBC announcers, but there was such a mix from the Scottish customs agents to the newspaper seller who I think was Jamaican or something. You're making me horny, baby. Oh, stop. It was really brought home how much England was part of Europe. People came here from everywhere. Whatever. I made my way past through the customs and out into the London air. It was cloudy, as I suppose I could expect from now on, and the January winds were chilly. There was no snow in the streets. I had been warned that it almost never snowed in London, unlike NYC. It did look damp though, and gray, very gray. I waited by the cab stop for a driver to be free. He threw my suitcase into his trunk, and off we went. On the wrong side of the road. To distract myself from my sense of impending doom, I envisioned the hostel I would be staying at. I would be doing a work-study-travel kind of program. The hostel provided my room and partial board, as well as a part-time job, from which they kept a share of the pay. Of course they would. You're making money there, huh? Stinking American? How about you hand that over? They're like mobsters, really. They're English mobsters. Hey, you gotta pay your protection money, huh? Anyway, it was all connected to a local university through some kind of deal, so I could take classes there. The program wasn't free, but because of the work portion, it actually came out cheaper than a semester of normal classes back in NYC would be. As long as I didn't flunk out and get sent home, my parents would be happy. It was a cramped, quiet ride through the streets that didn't take long until we were surrounded by tall, older-looking buildings made of stone. The cab driver got out and grabbed my bags, but not before pointing to a machine on the back of the seat in front of me to run my cards through. I swiped one. Approval denied. What? Maybe that card doesn't work here. Trying to quell my rising panic, I grabbed another card and ran it through. Card read error. You've got to be kidding me. I didn't have any other cards. The cabbie was standing outside the hostel with my bags, tapping a foot impatiently. I crawled out of the car and dug through my carry-on. Trembling, I held out a $20 bills. American bills. What? I can't accept foreign currency. I'm sorry, but my cards aren't working. Should I really be doing British accents for the native British people here? I don't think you guys want me doing a British accent, or just an English accent, whatever you want to call it, man. I'm terrible when it comes to accents. They'll sound Russian. They'll sound anything but English. I'll give it a try, though. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Did you not tell your bank you were going out of the country? Is that something you have to do? You stupid Americans. Look, I'm making an ass of myself. The guy already called me a stupid American. I'm done with the accent. It's done. Whoa, calm down there. A man with dark brown hair and a kind face appeared in front of me, having just come out from the hostel entrance. What seems to be the problem here? He glanced at the money in my hands and nodded. Hand me your dollars, I'll cover your fare. Fine, as long as someone pays, I don't care who. The cabbie showed him the card machine and he went down to pay. Thank you. Through my terror, I began to stutter, but the man just waved his hand. Don't you worry about it, you aren't the first person this has happened to. I'm not? Thank goodness. Well, most people are smarter than to take a cab they can't pay for, but you know. He finished paying the cab, he jumped into his car, slammed the door, and revved off down the street. I'm Danny, by the way. You must be one of the new arrivals. Yeah, I'm Falcon 69. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet him indeed. I'll grab your bags, why don't you come in? I can show you around. Thanks. Let's see, Falcon 69, Falcon 69. Here you are. Looks like you'll be working at the Crafty Crown. That's the pub next door. A pub? A bar that sells food, which is what you'll probably be doing. All the rest of the board and lodging seems to be sorted. Well, I'll give you a quick run through of the house rules, shall I? There are 7 of us at the moment who will board here regularly and a couple of extra rooms for overnights and short-term lets, but they're not often used. So with you here, there will be 8 of us in total, provided James hasn't hidden someone in the attic like an old novel. He laughed, but I just stared at him. British people don't actually do that, right? Anyways. Is he avoiding the question, my British viewers out there? Do you guys hide people in the attics? Is that a thing? Because personally here in America, we hide them in the basement. Anyways, your room's the one on the right here. You get a key and such. Loos are shared, 1 to every 2 rooms. There's a toilet to you, and there's a shower room at the end of the hall that we all share. It's not too bad though, because we never run out of hot water, and you can lock the door so people don't ruin it on you. Just make sure you knock before entering. Some people here don't mind leaving the doors unlocked. Thanks. He put a golden key into my hand and motioned to my bedroom. Well, why don't you do the honors? I nodded and unlocked the door, then heart thumping, I pushed it open. My room was small and a bit dingy. The paint was peeling, the carpet was faded, and somebody had taken a permanent marker to the wardrobe doors, but despite that, it managed to look colorful and somewhat inviting. It smelled a little musty too. I wonder when the last time it had been cleaned was. The balcony view though probably made this place count as luxury digs for London. I'm sure you're pretty tired and just want to unpack, so I'll let you do that now. If you need me, I'm usually in my room or wandering around the hostel, or I'm not here at all. So if you can't find me, I'm probably gone. You can just ask someone else in that case. Everyone's pretty friendly. Mostly. A dark look crossed his face, but he shook his head. Anyways, I gotta get back to revising The Life of a Scholar, right? Talk to you later. He saluted me and closed the door. I was alone in my slightly chilly room, staring at the suitcase at my feet, all alone in a foreign country. A wave of panic rose in my chest and I stared at the suitcase, willing to go away. Deep breaths. You knew this would happen at first, just take it one step at a time. First things first, unpack. Things always feel better when you've unpacked because you'll feel more like you're at home. At least I remember reading that somewhere. With that in mind, I unzipped my suitcase and began to organize my meager wardrobe. What is this? I held up an extremely expensive pair of, shall we say, undergarments. How did this get in here? Who did this? Because it sure wasn't me who bought Jinsu and Nene. I had to be. Somehow, they've conspired to distract me and sneak something into my luggage. This is what they thought I needed as a going away present. I held it up to my nose and sniffed. At least it was new, and it was made out of some kind of silky... Boom! The door flew open. Damn, baby. Alright, we got, here we go. We got a small little cute, possibly British redhead. I have to assume she's British. Maybe she's over here visiting like I am. I don't know. I turned out to see a diminutive girl with bright red hair, her foot out, as if she just kicked the door clean off its hinges. Eh? Eh? She looked at me, then at what I was holding in my hands. Oh, no! Oh, no, you don't know what you... You know, on occasion I like to wear, really silky underwear, baby. What can I say? Makes me feel good downstairs. I threw it to the side of me, feeling my face turn red. I didn't... What are you doing in my room? Your room? This is my room. Your room? But... She leaned down into the hallway, a confused look on her face. Oh, bollocks! So sorry, totally my fault. I picked the wrong door. 2 down from the end, they said, and I picked the wrong end. Bit daft of me, wouldn't you say? I'm Peggy, and I'm starting as a student this term. Isn't that ace? I'm finally going to be in the university, even if I had to wait for the later enrollment cycle. And good riddance, too. It was absolutely bonkers being stuck with my old form. There was this one girl, Cherise, who would go out pulling every night, and this other girl thought Prince Philip should be ruling instead of the Queen because women were inferior to men. I mean, can you believe that? And I had to live with that girl for so long. That's why I chose to come here instead of the student digs. I just couldn't do that all again until uni. I couldn't afford to get a flat by myself because I spent all my money on a Christmas trip to Spain. Oh, I'm not a crazy spender, I planned for months to have that trip and didn't spend a penny more than I budgeted. Just now, I'm skint. Why is this girl telling me that her entire life story right now? I just met her. She ran into my room and I'm holding a pair of silky underwear. Suddenly, she's telling me everything she needs to know about her. It's kind of weird, man. I'm just throwing it out there. It's kind of weird. Gotta live in the moment, that's what they say. Eat, drink, and be merry. Anyways, I'd better get out of your hair, right? You're clearly very... Her eyes slide over to where I'd thrown the silken underwear. Busy, Don't you look at me with that smug look, okay? It's not what you think. I just like to put on women's underwear on occasion that happen to be silky. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? It wasn't a prank, there's just nothing wrong with that. I'm really not. Well, have a good night then. Oh, yeah. She probably thinks I'm gonna go over here and just, wank one off or something. Yeah, I know what's going through your head, Peggy. She slammed the door shut and I had the feeling that the bread had been sucked out of my lungs. How could one person talk so much? Exactly! I mean, I do it myself all the time, but, you guys expect me to talk a lot. Otherwise, these videos would be a little bit boring if I wasn't talking, you know what I'm saying? At least she seemed friendly enough, and she was definitely from some part of England, judging by her accent and colorful language. Well, it seemed that was that. By the time I finished unpacking, it was early evening. Despite the relatively early hour, I was exhausted from all the travel and stress. I didn't bother to shower, I just put on my pajamas and crawled into bed. I can do the rest later. And that concludes the very first day in England. What did we do? Well, I apparently have a room with graffiti on the wardrobe doors, and apparently some girl ran in on me while I was holding some silky, possibly women's undergarments, and she now thinks I'm a creeper. I would say it's a very good first day for Falcon in England. I had barely woken up when I heard a hard knocking at my door. You in there? Get the hell up. I flipped out of bed and ran to the door, completely unaware of where I was or what I was doing. A man was there, glaring at me. You've got to report for work today, you know that? Yes? I blinked at him. I'm James. I own this place, I run this program. That makes me your boss. You'll be working at the pub next door, the Crafty Crown. A couple of others here already work there, Ashley and Brendan. You'll meet them when you start your shift, most like. Pub owner's name is Oscar. He's a friend of mine. Don't piss him off. Don't cause any trouble, understand? We don't need reasons for people to never hire you lot again. You do that and the entire program will be shut down. Not only will you be out of a job, but I'd be out of a job, which means you'll be out of the room and food. Understand? Yes, sir. He scratches his ass and... he scratches his ass and I try to hide my distaste. Pleasant guy. Speaking of food, how can you speak of food right now when this guy is in front of you scratching his ass? Breakfast is downstairs. Don't be late if you want to eat before you work. Get your schedule and don't miss any days in the job, and don't bother me. So long, then. He waved a short-fingered hand and headed off down the hallway. And here we are in our job for the first day. Not just any woman, a blonde whose low-cut top looked a whole lot better on her than my work uniform did on me. She saw me standing in the doorway and beckoned me forward. a bright smile on her face. You must be the new blood. I'm Ashley. I'm Falcon 69, nice to meet you. You know, that line right there, always get the ladies, by the way. Always get the ladies. What's your name? I'm Falcon 69. Head over heels, gonna tell you. I guess we'll be working together. So we will. You're from America, right? I've heard you're not 21 yet, not old enough to serve drinks in your country. Don't worry, I'll show you the ropes. In any case, there's no way you'll be worse than... The front door closed and Ashley fell silent. Another man had just entered, wearing the same uniform that I was, though he wore it better. What does that mean, Falcon 69, me in Europe? Are you not in shape? Get in shape, dog. What? Who is this guy? What are you doing here? Caught off guard by both his gruff questions and an American accent, I stammered in reply, oh, he's an American too. How about that? I'm Falcon 69. I'm new here. Nice to meet you, you fucking beta. Man up a little bit, Falcon 69. Come on, talk to him like you have a spine. I guess we're comrades, compatriots or something. No, we're not comrades. We're not Russians. We're Americans, dog. He turned a corner and headed into a back room. So that was Brendan. Don't mind him. He's not that bad a guy. She gazed at him after with a worried look on her face, and I balked. Not that bad a guy? Really? She sighed. We just broke up, so... Oh, I'm sorry. But that meant she was single, right? Okay. You know what? You're coming around on me, Falcon. In Europe. You're coming around to me now. Don't worry about it, it's over now. Anyways, let me show you how we do things here. She took me into the kitchen in the back, showing me the plates and the dish cleaner and where we were supposed to put the orders that we took and so on. In no time I was completely confused, not least because of all the different names of the foods. What's a gherkin? It's a yaylong in green. A pickle. But pickle is brown and comes in jars. What do you call... Why do you call your french fries chips? Now isn't that the age-old question right there? Why are they called chips in the UK? But to be honest with you here, I'll be honest with you here. I never really understood why we call them french fries here in the US. I mean, I've been so accustomed to calling them french fries my entire life, but I never really stopped to question. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even look it up. Maybe I should look it up one day. Why the hell are they called french fries to begin with? Because it feels like, you know, they've been around in America for a while. When you think of french fries now, you think of America because of our unhealthy eating culture. So we're always eating apparently burgers and french fries to people in the world. That's what we do. We just eat hot dogs, burgers, and french fries. So technically speaking, shouldn't they be American fries at this point? Because they're chipped off a potato, why do you call them French? What did the French ever do for chips? See? Yeah, she's right. She is absolutely correct. She smiled and shook her head, which made her hair and other things sway entertainingly. Ha ha ha! He meant her breast, obviously. I'm gonna go to hand you off to Brendan now. No one's around to serve up the usuals their next drink. Okay, take this out to the table in the far back. Guy's a buddy of mine, and give me that. He took the beer from my hands and began to drink. I don't think you're supposed to do that while you're working. Are you telling me how to do my job? No, of course not. Good, now skedaddle. I took the plate to the back table where a man with a thick mustache was waiting. Finally, it's been an age. Compliments of Brendan, he says hi. The man gave me a weird look, then took the food. I started to head back into the kitchen when... Ah! I jumped. The man at the table had screamed and now he was glaring at me. What is this shit? What? I just delivered the food, what? What's wrong, sir? There are peppers in this sauce. I specifically requested no peppers. I said that I'm allergic to peppers. This is covered in tiny bits of pepper. Ashley turned pale. I am so sorry, sir. I'll call 999 right away. Don't bother. It's not that kind of allergy. In other words, he isn't allergic at all. He just didn't like peppers. Someone deliberately put pepper into this dish. What did you say did this, Brendan? I'm gonna talk to your manager. I'll make sure that I get that kid fired if it's the last thing I ever do. He sneered at me, then marched out of the room. The remaining customers stared at us in the ensuing silence. Then... What the hell did he just say? Brendan came out of the back of the kitchen. You told him I did that? Well, I thought you said, you little shit, you're dead. No, if I lose my job, you will wish you were dead. I will make sure that the time you spend here will be absolute hell. Do you hear me? This won't be the end of things. Brandon dashed out of the room, presumably to catch the man, or talk to her boss. Ashley laid her hand on my shoulder. Hey, are you okay? I felt weak on my feet, but I tried to act as though nothing was wrong. Of course I am. Tough first day, right? Ashley laughed quietly. I didn't join in. Anyways, let's just try and finish out this shift. We can worry about everything else later. Well, that was quite an interesting first day at work, I gotta say. I mean, what did this Brandon dude expect was gonna happen? You put peppers in apparently a dish where he must have had some sort of idea this man didn't like peppers to some degree. So he puts them on there, and then he's like, hey, tell him his compliments of his friend Brendan. And you say that, so obviously this man is gonna know it was you dingus. I'm just saying, you know? I'm just losing logic here. Then I heard someone sit down on the couch next to me and looked up. Damn, baby! A beautiful woman was sitting next to me, looking at me with a gentle smile. She was so close I could pick up the warm notes of her perfume. Her red dress clung to her curves like they were a lifeline. Hey there, everything alright? I instantly stand back and try to look more like I was in control. Yeah, totally. Who might you be? I'm Aasi. I'm a boarder here. And you are? Falcon 69. I'm new here. I know. Her smile broadened. I would have noticed had I'd seen you before. Where are you from? Right here in London. I'm staying here because I am. She shrugged lightly, but didn't actually seem too happy. It was probably a sore topic. I'm from America. Really? I couldn't tell. She punched me playfully, and I relaxed a little. But no, nothing gives you the right to punch me already, Aasi, okay? I know you're probably, flirting with me by punching me that way, but still, we just met. You kind of got a bit friendly first, and then you give the friendly punch. You just don't do it after 7 lines of dialogue between somebody, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, you look like you could use some fun. Are you a partier? You don't know the half of it. Well, I mean, this guy isn't. He doesn't even drink. Oh, I didn't really know how to answer. I might want to be a partier, but after a day like today, I'm actually still a bit jet-lagged and dead tired. Oh. She seemed disappointed. I couldn't help but feel like I had failed somehow in her eyes. Like I was no longer as attractive. But I go partying every now and then, yeah. You know how things get in the Big Apple. Ever been? Her eyes light up, and I knew I'd hit the right note. You're from New York? That's brilliant! I wish I'd be able to see a place like that, all glamorous and focused. You must be an ambitious person. I hear everyone there is on the move. Big money, big buildings, a city that never sleeps. Well, work hard, play hard, right? I felt a little bad for lying, but it wasn't technically lying, right? It is lying, but that's fine. You could do it easily just in order to impress somebody. She was making me feel like I was someone cool, someone important. I wanted to keep up that image for her as long as possible. And that was the point of coming to a new country, wasn't it? To reinvent myself and try out a new character to see if I liked a different side of life. Better than my own back home. Maybe it wasn't such a bad idea to shade the truth a little after all. Well, you'll definitely have to come party with me sometime. I'm sure you'll pull loads of girls. Why would I pull on women? It seemed like a stupid question, so I didn't ask. This guy. It's not what she meant, you dingus. Well, I worked my first shift and I made my first enemy. But regardless of what happened today, this was still my trip. It was up to me to make the most of it, both good and bad. I could let people get to me like I usually did, or I could stand up on my own 2 feet and push through somehow. It was all up to me. And what I wanted to do the most right now was call my friends back home or get some sleep. What do you mean call your friends back home? No, man. You forget you have friends right now. All of your friends are now in London, okay? Get your ass to sleep. I was gonna need all the energy I could get. Get your ass to sleep. There you go, look at me. I'm over here serving drinks now. I'm a total geek as well. Okay. Well, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed it. This is England Exchange. We haven't gone to the raunchy stuff just yet, unfortunately. But if you want to see some more, let me know in the comments. Let me know by leaving a like. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot different than what we normally do, but I wanted to do something different, I like to try new stuff on the channel, and this seemed very interesting to me. I just like the banter. I like reading stuff and kind of like questioning it, so whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see some more, you let me know and we cover more. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up here. All the information for the game will be down below. I will catch you next time.